Learn English through story, The Silent Weight of Secrets. In a small coastal town nestled between the mountains and the sea, there lived a man named Marcus. He was a fisherman by trade, known throughout the town for his hard work and resilience. Every morning before dawn, Marcus would sail out into the open sea, casting his nets and returning with a bounty of fish that sustained both his livelihood and the townspeople. Marcus had a wife, Lydia, and a daughter, Amelia, both of whom he cherished dearly. His life was simple but fulfilling, marked by the steady rhythm of the tides and the seasons. Yet, beneath this serene surface, Marcus harbored a secret, one that had been with him since his youth, a secret that weighed heavily on his heart, though he had never spoken of it to anyone, not even Lydia. This secret began long ago when Marcus was a young man, just starting his life as a fisherman. One day, while out at sea, he and his closest friend, Jonas, encountered a terrible storm. The waves crashed violently against their small boat, threatening to capsize it with every surge. As the storm raged on, the boat was thrown against a rocky outcrop, and both men were cast into the tumultuous sea. Marcus managed to cling to a piece of driftwood, but Jonas was not so fortunate. Marcus watched helplessly as his friend struggled against the waves, slowly being pulled under. In those harrowing moments, Marcus faced a choice: either risk his own life to save Jonas or let him go and save himself. Fear and self-preservation won out, and Marcus chose the latter, paddling to shore with what strength he had left, leaving Jonas to the mercy of the sea. When Marcus returned to the town, he told everyone that Jonas had been lost to the storm, painting himself as the lone survivor of a tragic accident. The townspeople mourned Jonas, never suspecting the truth of what had transpired. From that day on, Marcus carried the weight of his decision in silence, haunted by guilt and shame. Years passed, and Marcus built a life for himself, marrying Lydia, raising Amelia, and becoming a respected member of the community. But no matter how much time went by, the memory of that fateful day and his betrayal of Jonas remained, a shadow that darkened even his brightest moments. One summer, when Amelia was about 10 years old, she began to show an interest in the sea. She would often ask Marcus to take her out on his boat, eager to learn the trade that had been in their family for generations. Though Marcus was proud of his daughter's enthusiasm, he was also reluctant. The sea, once a source of sustenance and peace for him, had become a place of torment, a reminder of the secret he carried. However, Amelia's persistence eventually wore him down, and one bright morning, Marcus agreed to take her out on the boat. As they sailed into the open water, Amelia's excitement was palpable. She asked countless questions about the sea, the fish, and the stories of Marcus's adventures. "Papa," she asked at one point, "have you ever been scared out here?" Marcus hesitated, his mind flashing back to the storm that had claimed Jonas's life. "There have been times," he admitted, "but you learn to respect the sea, and it becomes a part of you." Amelia nodded, satisfied with his answer, but her innocent question had stirred something in Marcus. The weight of his secret felt heavier than ever, and as they sailed further from shore, he found it increasingly difficult to concentrate. Suddenly, the sky darkened, and the wind picked up. Marcus's instincts told him a storm was approaching. He quickly turned the boat around, urging Amelia to hold on as the waves began to rise. But despite his experience, Marcus couldn't shake the fear that gripped him. The storm was eerily reminiscent of the one that had taken Jonas, and the thought of losing his daughter in the same way filled him with dread. The storm struck with full force, and the boat was tossed about like a toy. Amelia clung to her father, her eyes wide with fear, while Marcus struggled to keep the vessel steady. But no matter how hard he tried, the storm was relentless. A massive wave crashed over the boat, knocking Marcus off balance and sending Amelia sprawling across the deck. "Amelia!" Marcus shouted, scrambling to reach her as another wave loomed overhead. In that moment, Marcus was faced with the same choice he had faced all those years ago: to save someone he loved or save himself. But this time, there was no hesitation. Marcus lunged for his daughter, wrapping his arms around her just as the wave hit. The force of the water slammed them both against the side of the boat, and for a moment, everything went black. When Marcus regained consciousness, the storm had passed. The sea was calm once more, and the sky had cleared. He found himself lying on the deck, with Amelia still cradled in his arms, unconscious but breathing. Relief washed over him, but so did a deep sense of shame. He had saved his daughter, but the price of his survival all those years ago was still unpaid. They returned to shore, where Lydia greeted them with tears of joy and concern. Amelia recovered quickly, with only a few bruises and a newfound respect for the sea. But Marcus was changed. The storm had forced him to confront his deepest fear: not the sea itself, but the secret he had kept hidden for so long. That night, after Amelia had gone to bed, Marcus sat down with Lydia. He took her hands in his and, with a trembling voice, told her the truth about Jonas, how he had let his friend drown to save himself, and how the guilt had haunted him ever since. As he spoke, tears streamed down his face, years of suppressed emotion finally breaking free. Lydia listened in silence, her expression unreadable. When Marcus finished, she sat quietly for a moment, absorbing what he had said. "Marcus," she finally said, her voice gentle but firm, "we all have moments we regret. We all make choices we wish we could undo. But you've punished yourself long enough. You've carried this burden alone for so many years, but it's time to let it go." Marcus shook his head, still overwhelmed with guilt. "I don't know how to forgive myself, Lydia. I don't know if I deserve it." "Forgiveness isn't about deserving, Marcus," Lydia said softly. "It's about letting go, about allowing yourself to heal. Jonas wouldn't want you to live in torment forever. None of us would." Marcus looked into his wife's eyes and saw the love and compassion there. For the first time, he felt a glimmer of hope that perhaps, one day, he could find peace. In the days that followed, Marcus began to change. He spoke more openly with Lydia and Amelia about his feelings, sharing stories of his youth and the lessons he had learned. He also started visiting Jonas's grave, offering prayers and asking for forgiveness, not just from his friend, but from himself. The townspeople noticed the change in Marcus as well. He seemed lighter, more at ease, as if a great weight had been lifted from his shoulders. He became more involved in the community, helping others who were struggling and sharing his wisdom with younger fishermen. Over time, Marcus found that the sea, once a place of torment, became a place of solace again. He and Amelia continued to sail together, and though the memory of Jonas never faded, it no longer haunted him as it once had. Instead, it served as a reminder of the importance of honesty, of facing one's fears, and of the power of forgiveness. And so, Marcus lived out his days in peace, knowing that while he could never change the past, he could choose to live the present with integrity and love. His secret, once a heavy burden, had been transformed into a lesson that guided him toward a life of greater meaning and fulfillment. This story teaches the moral that secrets and guilt can weigh heavily on the heart, but facing them with honesty, seeking forgiveness, and accepting oneself can lead to inner peace and healing. Holding on to guilt prevents us from living fully, while letting go opens the door to redemption and a more meaningful life. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.